Hola, welcome back to Obituary. Me llamo Spencer Henry.
Me llamo Madison Reyes.
See,
You were just in Puerto Vallarta.
I was.
How was it?
It was a blast. We had a great time, great weather.
The house you stayed in.
So cool.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Housewives trip.
I know. It was one of the champ's friends' 50th birthday.
Okay.
And so he, rented out this big place and it was fun. Yeah, I'd never been to Mexico before. Where we were was really nice. The beach was nice. We took a boat to go to this other village that you can only get to by boat.
You sent us video of
I was
whales.
sending you video. Yeah, there were so many whales everywhere. It was just the perfect time because all weekend, from the condo we were at, we could look out and we could see whales breaching. But then when we were on the boat, the whales were not that far from us. It was crazy to see them so close.
That's crazy.
There was moms and babies and then
whales.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I don't know, I feel like LA has such so much Mexican culture that it doesn't
The first street was Olvera Street.
Well, yeah, and it felt so familiar being there even though I hadn't been there before, but it was so nice. Everyone there was so nice. It's wild that people are just selling cocaine everywhere. I'm teenage me would have gone nuts cuz you walk around and they're like Coca.
Were you like, yeah?
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Come on. No, I would never. I mean, I'd be so scared of with fentanyl and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
No way. And obviously, I don't want to go back to rehab.
Yeah.
So
you've got 15 years under your belt?
17.
17. Holy cow. Got a teen, almost an adult.
Almost an adult. I know, wild. But yeah, it was a really good time. I will say, coming back, going through customs once we got back to LAX was a nightmare that night.
Why?
I think it was just because it was a Sunday night, probably a lot of people coming
Yeah.
home, and I think probably a bunch of planes landed at once.
God. Well, I'm happy that you're home.
Happy to be home and happy to have beautiful weather here. It's 80 degrees outside.
It really does. It feels like summer. I'm going to talk about that in my coffin spinner a little bit. Sad news, Gene Hackman died.
Okay, him, his wife, and the dog.
Yes. And she was mummified.
Was she?
She was in a mummified state.
Was it carbon monoxide?
I don't know.
See, they haven't released the details yet, and I couldn't remember I couldn't decipher whether it was carbon monoxide or some people were saying was this a
murder
chosen?
Suicide? Yeah.
Well, not even a murder suicide, but willingly. Well, I guess still
suicide
technically, but
pact
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But...
And then also Michelle Trachtenberg.
Oh, yeah.
And I have her obituary.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone put out a really good obituary for her, so I have that. But I posted about it on my stories, and then someone that follows me responded and was like, they are familiar with her. I'll just say that. I won't say how they're connected. I was wondering because one of the articles that I read about it, because I don't know, you hear stuff and then you're just well, I want to know more. I want to know more because I think we want to understand things, obviously. And especially with what we do, it's I always want to know the cause of death.
Yeah.
And probably so do you guys, which is why you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah. It's not very appropriate to ask, but we all think it.
Yeah, 100%. Several articles said that she passed away from natural causes. And I'm she's 38 years old. How did she pass away from natural causes? And then another article referenced that she had received a liver transplant recently. And so I'm okay, this has to be alcoholism.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And so I asked this person who had responded to my story, and basically they confirmed to me at least, and I'll say this allegedly, that it was she did have ethanol cirrhosis, which would be alcoholism induced. And so it's really fucking sad, but I don't think I was talking to the champ about it last night because I was reading him the DMs or whatever. I was I don't think people realize how bad drinking is for you. I know that's not a fun thing to hear or a fun thing to talk about. And it's not me being sober, preaching to you guys, just drinking is so bad. Everything's fine in moderation, in my opinion. But, I don't think people realize the toll it has on your body. If you're drinking every night, you're not healthy.
Yeah.
Your liver's not healthy. Like, it's bad news bears.
It is. It's scary. It's just sad this week. I feel like two like childhood, like Young Frankenstein and The Birdcage.
Yeah.
I grew up watching, which
Uh-huh.
is Gene Hackman was in
Right.
those. And then
Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Spy. I loved that movie. I remember like, okay, I don't have any tattoos, but if I ever had a tattoo, I was like, oh, maybe I would do it on the bottom of my foot like she had.
Yeah.
Or she had like with blood or whatever, but sad.
It's sad. Young.
Mm-hmm.
Young.
Mm-hmm.
I actually would be interested in learning more about ethanol cirrhosis. Like, I might maybe
Yeah.
do like a coffin spinner on it eventually.
sure.
Because it's interesting to hear about
Yeah.
the effects. And let me say this.
Here we go. What are we saying?
Let me say this. Living in a mid-century home
Ooh, girl.
is not for the weak, girl.
Not for the
It
week.
is not for the weak, because I have not known 1 week of
Every week.
peace
Yeah.
since moving into this house. That's not true. We've known some peace.
And it's so beautiful. It makes it all worth it.
I cannot deal. We have had so many plumbing issues, so many electrical issues, and I'm like, what's the deal? Like,
Yeah.
were they taking mid-century shits? like how is
Little cutie, like
black and white?
like black and white shits, but then also the like starbursts.
Yeah.
Just like little
Doo-doo-doo. No, I don't get it. Like, there's just so many plumbing issues, and I'm like, there's that, and then electrical stuff too, and
I know.
then because we live on a hill, it's like a high risk fire area, so they keep shutting off our power whenever it's hot.
I know you showed me your generator today.
I have a generator, so I was actually so impressed. The champ helped me, but I set that sucker up, and I got her roaring.
Mm-hmm.
We just fully had power last night because of the generator, and it
I
was
love
pretty
it.
incredible.
And the studio light.
Yeah, the light that we use to like record, we got this insane light that is just it's not a ring light. It's like
It's huge.
it's a rig.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had it like facing an area of our house where it basically just like lit up half of our house. And
Yeah.
that was pretty incredible. You came over today and you're like, were you filming in your bedroom?
Yeah. What the hell?
Girl, no. Maybe, but that's not for this.
Hey, you know what?
Huh.
Your birthday's in a couple days, so maybe a little birthday. You're gonna be 21.
I can't believe
can't
it. Finally
believe
legal. I've been sober since I was 5.
It got really bad.
Yeah,
4.
they called me the boy Drew Barrymore. I was at Club 54 or whatever.
Studio
Oh, yeah, Studio 54. Yeah, my birthday is on Monday. 29.
Plus.
One of my friends asked me yesterday, like, how old I was, and I was like, I'm turning 30. And she was like, wait, are you really? And I was like, yeah.
Are you being serious or you just thought?
No, I was just telling her that. I was just like, I'm turning 30.
I mean, now's the time to start lying.
And then she's like, texted me this morning, and she's like, so I fucking Googled you. You're turning 34. I was like,
Damn.
fuck.
You went with it? You didn't try to.
No. I said anyone can lie online. I'm merely 30 years old.
God.
No, you know what? Getting older is a gift. It's another year for the obituary.
It's a gift and a curse, honey, because I couldn't
God.
move this morning. I fell asleep in such a weird position that I woke up and was like, I can't move.
You also had an injury. You sustained an injury last night.
Honey, my world
Tell
got
me what
rocked.
happened.
My world got rocked, and Cisco's world was about to get fucking rocked.
What happened?
So-
I got a text from her referencing this, and then I was like, I forgot to ask you about it.
The things that I think are the most beautiful body part of mine are my hands.
Very protective of them.
Very protective. So Cisco and I have had our Christmas lights up, and we've gotten away with it because they're just like
To who?
White. I don't know. I see some people that still have them up. All the decorations are gone, but the lights were still up because we've just been too lazy to do it. And I'm like, Cisco, he's going to be leaving for Texas in a couple days. And I was like, we have to take these down, or I guess I can wait for you till after, but like, I need you to take them down. And so we go out at like 9:00 last night. We get we need a new ladder too. This one's like massive and folds out, and it's just, the whole thing is just a nightmare. And so we put it up against the house, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold it for you. And so I hold it for him, and he starts climbing up. And all of a sudden, I'm holding it on the steps. I don't know why I was doing that, but that's just
dumb.
Yeah. So I'm holding it, and all of a sudden, he steps on both my hands, and I'm standing there like, ow! In my hand, but I can't move my hands because he can't jump off. He's high up. And so I'm just sustaining his body weight on my hands. And I'm like crying, like, ow. And he's like, what? What's going on? What? I'm like, you're on my hands. And then he had to like crawl up the ladder. It was a whole thing. It was a whole fucking thing. And then he was all freaked out. And so he's like, what? And I'm like, he just stepped on my hands. He's like, well, why would you put your hands there? I'm like, well, why aren't you asking me how I'm doing? It was a whole fucking thing. And then we were laughing about it today, but
any sort of like household project that you're doing together, it takes a lot of patience to not fucking just
not.
Well, I sent you the meme the other day of like, it. I'll do like the wife's like, I'll do it myself, and it's like 15 drill holes for the curtain rod because
that's me.
You. I remember when you moved into this current house, you were just like chatting with me, and you were, because I came over, and I was like, "Can I help you?" And you're like, "Oh no, I just got." It's like all crooked and shit.
Yeah, and then the other night I was vacuuming, already pissed off, like about to start my period. This was like a couple weeks ago. And I was just in a mood. I was pissed off at everyone. What I do is I clean or I organize to like clear my mind. And so I was vacuuming, and I was in the dining room vacuuming. And all of a sudden, the vacuum sucks up one of the curtains, rips the curtain rod off the wall. And I start literally crying. Like, I can't fucking handle it. And then Cisco comes in like, what's going on? What's going on? And I start yelling at him because I'm like, you didn't come soon enough. You're not helping. And a nightmare.
Your grandfather was right when he wrote in that
I know.
card.
Challenge. I told my dad about it.
You did? What'd he say?
I saw him this weekend. I saw both my
Did he just laugh?
He started laughing, and he said, no truer words.
Because one thing about Big Bill, is he is going to fucking tell it like it is.
My dad will roast the fuck out of you.
He does not mince words.
No.
He's like the shadiest queen you've ever met in your life. Like, the way he delivers it is like wild. I've seen it firsthand. And I also hear it all the time because like you'll be like, okay, so I just left my dad's house, and he said, I told him that like I was thinking of, doing this, and he told me.
No, he's 81 years old and
this sassy,
so with it.
That's what I love though, is because
texts.
Like, when you're that age, you don't have to give a fuck because you're like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
He doesn't give a fuck.
You're gonna cancel me? I'm your dad.
He's like, okay, talk about me on your iPod.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, he calls this an iPod. I mean, he's not a tech whiz. I'll say that because I remember one time. Remember he like walked downstairs and he had his iPad and it was on like split screen, and I just tapped it because he couldn't figure out how to make it go off, and he's like,
wow, so you're a genius.
How'd you do that?
Yeah.
So, Bill, I don't know.
Oh, God.
He's a cutie.
I know. Wait, speaking of iPads. 2 nights ago, I'm sitting here, I'm writing, I'm researching all by myself. It was like late at night. I was on the couch.
Who normally helps you research?
Well, you know what I mean. I'm sitting there alone, And my iPad is sitting next to me, and it starts talking. And it goes, mm-hmm. And that's it. It's so
That's
terrifying.
it. It just said, girl, they're listening.
Uh-huh.
They're all
It
listening.
was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Really scary. So, I don't know. They're taking over.
They're taking over. Well, moving on. Do you have any listener emails for us this week?
I sure do. And this listener email actually pertains to something you talked about a couple weeks ago. Third man syndrome.
Third man syndrome, yes.
It's a good one. It says, Dear Spencer, Madison, Hot Dog, Doris, Desi, and our newest addition, Frankie.
Frankie.
There's long intros now for all the,
I know.
all the
just, yeah.
souls.
You're going to have to start shortening it, okay?
Yeah.
Just, hey, crew. The dogs.
Yep. The OBIT crew.
The OBIT crew.
Yeah.
And we'll just know it's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What'd they say?
I'm currently listening to episode 183. Oh, bitch, pert your seatbelt on.
Wait, why'd we call it that?
Because I think I couldn't talk. I was saying something crazy.
Pert it on.
Heard it on, honey.
Party.
And I wanted to write in to tell you my experience with third man syndrome.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't ever slap me again.
We're live.
When I heard Spencer begin talking about the phenomenon, I knew I had to share my story. If you read this on the pod, feel free to use my name as I will probably shit my pants.
Oh, no. What's your name?
We'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
I've been a huge fan since the very beginning, following Spencer on YouTube during his hairstylist
Oh, my
days.
God. An OG.
An OG.
Thanks for following, and
I
thanks
know.
for listening.
Thank you. So you can say I'm a long time cult babe Geoff at this point.
Love you.
Love that. It was 2018 and I was at a flag football tournament near DC. And it was a sourcing, I think it meant scorching. It was a scorching hot day.
No, it's a sourcing hot day.
Oh, okay. I made sure to take all the precautions to protect myself from the heat. Sitting under a tent when not playing, hydrating constantly, eating light foods like fruit, running fans, etc. My team was done for the day and we were all sitting around supporting the others and scouting our competition when I suddenly became so overwhelmingly hot. I walked to the bathrooms, which were a good half mile to 1 mile away, drenching myself with bottles of water. The walk became excruciating and I didn't think I would make it. When I finally did, I realized I had started to undress during the walk.
Just like dehydrated, just
Really quick, remember our show in Michigan?
oh my God.
And I started slurring my words.
I
You
felt
were
like I was going to
sweating.
pass out.
Yeah.
They put us, I remember because it was a beautiful venue, but there was like a big theater downstairs that had like 90 people going to it. And
And it was like a climate change thing. And honey, it's
the
real.
climate was changing, honey. And we were upstairs and we had sold out. There
It
was like
was
a couple hundred
packed.
people there.
Yeah.
And it was packed. And we were sitting on stage just like looking at each other. Just your nail came off.
Oh,
like
I
makeup
was sweating. Yeah.
yeah, on both of us.
Well, yeah, you were going through a little phase. But I remember, trying to talk to you, and I was like, dumb ass.
We literally were slurring our words. I think we stopped several times and just asked the audience, but
Well,
are
they
you
were
guys
all
really
fucking
hot right
too.
now. They're like, yes. We're
But
like,
we also
sorry.
had lights on us. Yeah.
Ugh,
So
it's a hard life. Okay,
We
so,
get it.
So we can actually relate.
We
is
can-
what we're saying.
can.
Uh-huh.
and when I didn't have AC for 3 months during the summer, that was terrible.
Jesus.
The walk became excruciating and I didn't think I would make it. When I finally did, I realized I started to undress during the walk. I drenched my shirt and shorts under the sink water and bird bathed in the sink.
Oh my God.
People were staring at me like I was insane. When I felt cool and confident enough to make the trek back to the field we were on, I ventured out. As soon as I hit the heat, I knew I couldn't do it. Something told me to take my car keys with me to the bathroom, so I diverted to the car. Of course, the car was hotter than hell, but I cut it on and blasted the AC. literally undressing in the front seat and climbing into the back.
I'm like hot and anxious
I
while
know.
they're telling this story.
That feeling of like, I don't give a fuck who sees me do anything. You can see me naked. I don't care. I need to cool off.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's like when you're high and you think the police are outside and you're like, I can't stop having this feeling. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, get me out of my own body.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Literally undressing in the front seat and climbing into the back where it was a bit more shaded due to the darker tint on my back windows. In this moment, I knew I was having a heat stroke. Oh, fuck. I was in and out of consciousness and I just knew I was going to die right there in that parking lot, butt ass naked in the back seat of my car. I didn't have my cell phone on me, so I couldn't call for help. I started to fade out again when I heard my papa's voice blast in my ears. I have the chills. Wake up, Katie. Wake up. You're going to be okay. Cover yourself up, Katie. Wake up. Oh, I have literal goosebumps.
Fully have chills.
All of a sudden, paramedics were at my car asking me to open the door. This was weird because I didn't call, obviously, and my windows were so tinted there was no way anybody could see me. I mustered the strength to unlock the car door with my foot when the paramedic pulled me out of the car and stated to his coworkers, just as suspected, it looks like she's having a heat stroke.
Oh my God.
Wow. I was so beyond out of it, I just let the darkness take me. I woke up in the hospital with friends sitting with me and quickly filled me in on what happened. My mom later told me she heard from my papa in her head telling her that I was not okay and to call for help. Whoa, this makes me want to cry.
How did they know?
Well, the mom, I think the grandpa that was deceased, communicated not only with Katie in the car, but also told the mom, like, hey, something's not right.
That's insane.
She then called some of the friends I was with because she couldn't get in touch with me, and my friends let her know I had been gone for some time, to which she told them to call 911 immediately and report me missing. There was apparently a search on the premises where bystanders reported seeing me walking to the parking lot. My friends were able to give a description of my car. My mom gave the license plate number, and that's how they were able to track me down. Long-winded way to say, my papa was definitely with me that day.
Oh.
If it had not been for him keeping me as conscious as possible and him not alerting my mom I was in danger, I wouldn't be sitting here typing this out to you. My papa died in 2010. I luckily have no major complications from the heat stroke, besides extreme sensitivity to the heat now. Third man syndrome is real, and I am a survivor because of it.
Wow.
P.S. Your book is amazing, and I recommend it to anyone who will listen. I've also gotten some of my best friends and strangers listening to your pods. Thanks for all you do. Keep being you. All my love, Caitlin.
Caitlin.
That you can't see right now, and I haven't shaved my arms in a little while, but I have goosebumps.
Do you have goosebumps? Shit like that is always wild. And actually, I was watching, so Teresa Caputo.
She's kind of the real deal, though.
She has a newish show on Lifetime, and we've been watching it at night. She was last night, she walked into a restaurant or like a coffee shop that she was meeting her daughter at, and she was like, there's like a grandparent spirit here or whatever. Like there's a grandparent telling someone in here they need to be patient. And her daughter was like, oh my God, and pulled out a pregnancy test because her daughter was pregnant.
Teresa's daughter?
Yeah.
Wow. Did I ever tell you when a psychic approached me at the mall?
No, what happened? I don't think you did.
No, it was at the job where I was working for a company that I fucking hated. And I was down, girl. I was down in the dumps. I was sad. I hated it there.
Uh-huh.
And I was walking to like grab some lunch, and this woman came up to me. I think she was a scammer, but she handed me a card like you need to be read. And
she got you?
Well, I never called her.
Oh.
She just like kind of walked away, like when you're ready.
I saw a psychic at a Halloween party once.
I had a psychic at my bridal shower.
I had a psychic at...
And then there was a psychic that didn't really want to read me at my sister's housewarming party because I had a bullet around my neck. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was going through it.
No, but I went to a psychic at a Halloween party, and they were the wrong, like, so wrong. The worst psychic. Well, I mean, I've had 2 bad psychic experiences, I guess. I had that one in Palm Springs who was just kinda hitting on me,
Yeah.
and then I had the one at this party, and it was, like, right before I moved to LA, and she was like, "The guy you're moving for is the one, and you guys are gonna have twins."
I've been told I'm gonna have twins too.
Yeah, are they just telling people that?
I know. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It did not feel real, and I would say that anyone who pretends to be a psychic and
Mhm.
doesn't actually have the gift
Mhm.
and just takes advantage of people, I'd say they're a real asshole.
The biggest.
The biggest asshole. And speaking of, it's time for some Am I the Assholes?
Okay.
And this first one says, Am I the asshole for telling my father about my mother's brother-in-law passing?
Okay.
It says to start this off, my parents are divorced, very messily divorced. They were married for over 20 years, and my father was close friends with many of my mom's family members. Me, 20 female, lives on campus at my local university, so I don't interact with either of my parents much anymore besides phone calls and texts. Last week, my uncle, on my mom's side, unfortunately passed away in a very tragic incident at home. I was upset when my mom told me the news, and I figured I should call my dad to let him know what happened because he was friends with that uncle, even though my dad doesn't interact with my mom's side after the divorce about 5 or 6 years ago. Apparently, my mom found out I told my dad, and she freaked out on my dad, saying something like, "You should not have known because you're not family." This is something my mom often does when she's not happy or isn't in control of a situation and lashes out at my dad. I feel bad for telling my dad because I didn't ask my mom if it was okay for me to tell anyone else. Now, because I told my dad, I'm not invited to the funeral. And this really hurts, but I kind of see why. I have to work over the time the funeral would be, and I wasn't sure if I could make it anyway. I don't know how to feel about the situation, and I don't have anyone to ask. Am I the asshole for telling my dad, and is my mom's decision justified?
I don't think they're the asshole.
No. Yeah, so not the asshole. I feel like the mom's the asshole for being like, someone commented on that original post and said something like, death is not like a secret. Like,
No.
everybody, like, you're not entitled to gatekeep somebody else's death. And this
Mhm.
girl's telling her dad. It's not like she's telling a stranger. I think the mom's
Yeah,
the asshole for being like,
because
you can't come.
in that same thing, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how that person posted on Facebook. And there's like ways, yes, it's not a secret, but there are
But
ways to do
have
it.
some couth.
But this is, she's not announcing it on social
No, she's just
media.
telling her dad. Weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is wild. And it says, Am I the asshole for leaving when my daughter called my boyfriend dad?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
It
Give
says,
me a second.
I, 46, have been dating my boyfriend Matt for almost 3 years now, and everything has been going well. But since I'm a widow and a single mother, I try to take each step cautiously and with everyone's best interests in mind. I've always had trouble with commitment, and my late husband, Bob, was a big first in my life. So I try to make sure that I don't compare the relationships. Matt doesn't feel like he needs to compete. I feel secure mentally and emotionally, and my children are safe and happy. In the beginning of our relationship, I kept him and my kids separate. So the kid's dad died, and now
Mhm.
she's dating someone else.
How old is the kid? Did they say yet?
They have little kids.
Okay.
I was quite fond of him, but I didn't know where it was going to go and had no reason to bring him home yet. As time went on and we got more serious, he met my kids. And then he started spending most of the daytime at my house and eventually started spending the nights as well. This journey was accompanied with a lot of conversations with both my kids and Matt on how everything was going. As for me, like I said, I liked him and tried to keep an open mind. In November, Matt and my son and daughter and I moved into a house together. Everyone was comfortable and everything was fine. I felt a lot of feelings and I would talk them over with Matt, but I wasn't wanting to back out. I was just adjusting. Although these were different relationships, living with Matt, having him have relationships with my kids, and him wanting to get married all felt heavy. Bob, my ex husband, died almost 9 years ago, and I haven't had a serious relationship since. The only man that had met my kids knew them before we started dating and stuck around as a friend after the relationship was over. So it wasn't that. I guess I've been having a hard time mentally trying to make place in my head and heart that housed Matt without feeling as though he was filling Bob's. shoes. Anyway, yesterday we were playing a board game and my daughter called Matt Dad. He looked at me, I looked at him, and then he responded to her and they kept talking and I just sat there with my mind racing. It's good that she feels comfortable with him and that's what matters, but I had so many feelings. We got through the game and I tried to be as calm as possible, but I felt so bad. I was sad. I was happy that she was happy, but I felt bad for my deceased husband, Bob. The man who's dead's feelings are all I can think about. We finished the game and I went out for a drive, and on the drive, my phone was blowing up. Apparently, Matt told my sister what happened and she said that I was being an asshole for walking out with my kids. What? So am I an asshole for needing a second to collect myself?
No, I don't think you're an asshole, and I don't want to call you an asshole, but I do think that these feelings you have to work out maybe with a therapist or a grief counselor or something, because I think your kids come first. And if your kids are that comfortable and have a good person in their life that they can...
I'd be so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they did it on their own. They weren't forced to. And that, I think you have to take your kids' lead.
No, it sounds like the mom has issues here.
Which I get, that's heartbreaking.
For sure, but it's also been 9 years since her husband passed away. And if you're deciding that you're in a position to date and bring a man around and bring him into your home and move in together and everything and raise your kids with you,
yeah,
I feel like it is an asshole move to just walk out when something that would naturally occur like that happens.
Right.
I don't know.
Which to me it would feel so sweet, but I also have never gone through that, so I don't know.
Hard to say.
Hard to say,
but
man.
Easy to judge.
Yes. Oh, I love to judge.
Well, I'm up first this week.
Okay. Well, I have a side bitch, and it's Scandalous.
A scandalous side
yes,
bitch?
It was sent to us a bunch. It just happened a week or two ago.
Okay.
And it's on Facebook. And Brittany Clifton wrote this on her status and said 1993 to 2025. It's with zero sadness and only pure joy. I announce the passing of David Ballin at the age of 31. He will be missed, maybe by his brother. He had no children to carry his last name and no wife/girlfriend to mourn him. Such a shame. A party to celebrate his final departure will be announced at a later date. R.I.P., and by that I mean rot in pieces.
Oh.
You are dead to me, with a picture of him.
Oh, no.
So I'm not sure whether this person really passed away or if this is just an ex.
I want to see the
like
picture.
A scorned lover.
Writing an obituary for your ex when they're still alive is
kind of a slay.
Kind of a slay.
I kind of love that much.
I want to. We should write obituaries for past relationships. I'd love to.
I know. There were some that deserve it and some that I probably deserve.
Oh, I know the stories about this one here, and let me tell you, you deserved it.
Oops.
They would write. They would read your obituary
they
with
should
glee.
Punch me, actually.
Actually, drop the Addy. Let's see if they're gonna pull up.
Okay. I'll take it.
Oh, shit. Okay, we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, girly, my coffin spinner this week was one that was just fascinating to learn about because honestly, it's a tale as old as time and even older than that, maybe. And it played such a significant role in so many organized religions. We have definitely talked about our fair share of torture methods on here and execution methods, thanks to you.
Okay.
Parts 1, 2, and who knows?
3, and yeah. I need to do another one soon.
Honestly, yeah.
Unless this is...
I mean, this is a torture method, but we're just focusing on one today because we are going to be discussing the crucifixion experiments.
What?
Yes. And it's actually...
What?
It's wild. So crucifixion, is primarily used as, or crucifixion is primarily used as a torture method back in the old days. Like the ancient Romans loved this. And it's a method of execution in which a person is tied or nailed to a cross or similar structure and left to die. And it was primarily used by the ancient Romans as a punishment for criminals, rebels, and enslaved individuals.
Okay.
In most cases, As I mentioned, victims were either tied or nailed to a cross, and then they were just left there to
Die.
die.
Yeah.
Researchers and even television programs like BBC and National Geographic have done reconstructions of crucifixions, mostly using dummies, but sometimes live humans to test out how people actually passed away from the torture method and what the actual effect it has on the body. Like, how does this actually kill somebody?
Like humans that weren't deceased, just they were alive.
They were alive, but they were doing like when it was televised, they were doing it with like restraints. Obviously, just to see the effect on the body, they weren't using nails. They just wanted to create kind of like a simulated crucifixion.
Okay.
And I think the reason that people have been so fascinated by the topic of crucifixion is obviously because of Jesus. I feel like that's the most popular case.
Yeah.
But he is not the only known example. There's another very famous example, and it involves the 1968 discovery of a crucifixion from the 1st century CE.
Okay.
The long and the short of it is that archaeologists were called into this neighborhood in East Jerusalem when contractors who were working on this building project came across an ossuary. And inside of the tomb, they discovered an inscription that read, I can never pronounce it. Yehohanan, the son of Hagkol. And inside of the tomb, they found Yehohanan's corpse, and it became evident that he had, in fact, been crucified. They found like a piece of his ankle that had a nail through it.
Okay.
And again, they discovered that he died or was executed in the 1st century CE, which is wild.
Oh, wow.
A man named Nikyu Haas spoke about his anthropological observations in 1970 at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He concluded that Yehohanan was crucified with his arms stretched out and his forearms nailed, possibly on a two-beamed cross.
Ooh.
In 1985, they did like a reappraisal, they call it, where they went back, they collected more information. They had other researchers go in and inspect his corpse. And this was Joseph Zayas and Eliezer Sekels of the Hebrew University. They proposed instead that a horizontal beam was affixed to a vertical stake and that his death was caused by asphyxiation, not by the nails being drilled into his body.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of like debate over what actually kills you
Yeah.
when you're crucified. We're going to get into all of the different theories that are out there. But Madison, last week you introduced us to some pretty wild doctors. And so
yes,
I think you're really going to love hearing about this man named Dr. Pierre Barbet.
Okay.
So imagine you're standing in a dimly lit operating room, staring at a lifeless body, and preparing to nail it to a wooden cross.
Oh, shit.
Not out of cruelty, but out of curiosity.
Was this like a donated body?
Yeah, a need to understand an ancient horror. Well, that's exactly what Dr. Pierre Barbet, a French surgeon, did in the early 20th century. His work would challenge long-held beliefs about crucifixion, reshaping how we understand one of the world's most famous execution methods.
Yeah.
That's a fucking word. So Pierre was not your typical surgeon. By the 1930s, he had already earned a reputation as a skilled physician, but something about the execution of Jesus Christ, like, haunted him. He couldn't stop thinking about it.
I think it haunts a lot of people. Have you ever seen, not Jesus Christ Superstar, what is the...
Passion of the Christ?
Yes.
Yes.
That thing is gnarly.
Gnarly, bitch. Like a lot of people, he questioned exactly how a crucified person died. And traditionally, scholars had just assumed that crucifixion caused asphyxiation, that the sheer weight of the body made it impossible to breathe because you're just kind of hanging there. But there was one problem. The Gospels say Jesus spoke while on the cross. If he was suffocating, how could he?
Well,
we know. So Barbet did what any rational, science-driven man of the 20th century would do. He found corpses and nailed them to crosses.
I mean...
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Fuck it. So he did the experiments inside of a Parisian hospital morgue. I guess he had access to a lot of human cadavers, which we've talked about plenty of times on the show before, how they would get them.
And especially the Parisian morgues. Remember we talked about how there were some that were used as entertainment?
Well, yeah, like in the
They were like
auditorium.
waiting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. I forgot about that. And then there was the guy who did like the public thing at the Marriott or whatever hotel,
God,
remember?
the public autopsy.
Public autopsy, yeah. So anyway, they do these experiments in a Parisian hospital in the morgue. He wanted to test if by putting the nails through the hands, if it would actually support the body's weight.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is something to think about too. Like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't it just
There's no way.
drive through? Yeah. I mean, have you ever tried to hang something with a command strip? Those suckers just pop right off.
Remember we tried to hang that TV on your wall in your apartment and it ripped all the drywall out?
That was another one of those situations where you're like, I can help you hang your TV. There was
I'm Bob the Builder.
13 holes in like 4 different walls. We had to like move it 5 times. Yes.
We got it done.
So tradition says Jesus was nailed through the palms, but when Barbet drove a large iron spike into a cadaver's hand and applied weight, the flesh tore apart almost instantly. And so
I'm like mentally picturing this. I'm picturing the operating room. I'm picturing a corpse. I'm picturing
and they're in Paris, so there's like espressos.
They're smoking cigarettes,
yes.
Eating chocolate.
And he's like,
yeah.
Uh-huh. So the flesh tore apart almost instantly. There's no way that it would support a full-grown man. So he tried again, but this time he tried it by driving a nail through the wrist. And that changed everything.
The wrist. Okay.
It's the wrist. It's the wrist. With the nail positioned through a small anatomical space known as the space of Destot, the body held with no tearing, no slipping, just agonizing, immobilizing pain. And then came another discovery. When the nail went through the wrist, it struck the median nerve, which is one of the most sensitive nerves in the human body, and the hand clenched almost instantly. The fingers curling inwards, causing a painful spasm, which you're like, I mean, how do they know? Because they were doing this on cadavers.
And it still?
Yeah, it still went. I mean, they could have been fresh, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of my business, honestly. I'm just telling you what I know. If Jesus and thousands of other crucifixion victims were nailed this way, they would have experienced excruciating nerve pain with every slight movement. Pierre had solved the nail placement mystery, but there was still the biggest mystery of all. How did crucifixion actually kill people? And like many before him, he initially believed it was the asphyxiation theory that hanging on a cross made it impossible to exhale. However, later forensic studies, including those by Dr. Frederick Zugaib, that was a slurred speech.
It's hot.
Dr. Frederick Zugaib suggested that while breathing was painful, asphyxiation was not the primary cause of death. Instead, it was hypovolemic shock, which is severe blood loss from scourging and nailing, which may have been the fatal blow. So if you combine that with dehydration, exposure, and sheer exhaustion, the body will simply shut down.
Yeah.
Barbet's research, Pierre's, was groundbreaking, but it also had one unintended consequence. His experiments, which were meant to just uncover the truth of like what happens when somebody's crucified, fueled a lot of religious debates because his findings suggested that the wounds on the Shroud of Turin were consistent with crucifixion, as he described it, which sparked renewed discussion about the cloth's authenticity.
Okay.
While some dismiss his methods as outdated, his wrist theory and hypothesis about asphyxiation is still widely accepted in forensic science. But I want to talk about some other possibilities. So there's hypovolemic shock, which is basically the severe blood loss.
Sounds the most.
Sounds real.
Yeah.
Sounds legit. There's a name for it. We'll believe it if it's scientific. Traumatic shock and pain, obviously striking like these major nerves in your bodies and causing this shock can cause you to just pass out.
Yeah.
And your body will start to shut down. There's asphyxiation or suffocation. It's believed that a lot of people went through cardiac arrest when they were crucified. Honey, if you're nailing me to a cross, I'm having a heart attack.
I almost went through cardiac arrest last night when I got my hands.
Stepped on your hands.
Yeah.
And now imagine a nail going through those.
Oh my God.
You don't know how lucky you are.
Yeah.
She's cooked. And then, of course, not everyone died immediately when they were crucified. And so they would just die from like exhaustion and
Or starvation.
dehydration.
Yeah.
Or also exposure to certain like extreme weathers and stuff.
Or what about animals?
I thought about that too, especially because we've talked so much about different torture methods where like birds will come and peck at somebody, or even like the milk and honey. Who could forget that? And so, yeah, I'm sure that was probably a factor as well because it's been happening for so long. I also learned this fun fact. Roman executioners would sometimes break the victim's legs in a process called crucifixion to speed up suffocation since they could no longer push themselves up. So think about like if you're crucified, right?
Oh my God.
And they're able to like support themselves at all by their feet touching the ground. They'd fucking break their legs so that they would like slide down. Yeah.
But wasn't Jesus nailed through his ankles too, or his feet? He was nailed through his feet.
But were his feet like crossed? Yeah. I think. I don't know. I've seen different pictures. I don't know. Oh, it's different. It's different because like look here, his legs are parallel.
You are right.
And then look there.
You're right.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
Like nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's crucifixion.
Damn.
So that's crucifixion. And that's nonfiction because it really happened.
God, that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is terrible. I mean, I listen,
truly...
we've discussed this before. I believe in saints and stuff. I'm not a very religious person at all. Not trying to be disrespectful.
I truly, though, I feel like that is on my list of like least ways I want to die.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm going right through those nails, honey. It
like
ain't
the bed through the floor.
Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, there is a way. If they do it through that bone, it'll keep you up.
Terrible.
Nasty.
God.
Gnarly. All right. Well, we're going to take one more quick break and let you guys think about that. And when we come back, we'll hear what had you spinning in your coffin this week.
And I was spinning.
Oh, shit. Okay. We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, girly, you gave us the lowdown last week on a viral story. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago, about a foot just falling onto a casket.
Oh my God.
That
I saw on TikTok.
Love TikTok.
Love
it.
TikTok.
Well, I was gathering pictures and videos for the Instagram post that goes out. I think it goes out today.
Okay. Did you put the foot in there?
I did. Yeah, I put the foot in there. But while I was doing that, a couple things popped up, like a couple suggestions, like feet-related instances or incidences.
Little foot action.
Kind of a foot epidemic, honestly. Today, we are talking about the Salish Sea and the human feet that reside in it.
Excuse me?
Yes, the human feet that reside in it.
Just no body, all feet?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to fucking get into it. So,
when I was little.
Okay.
When I was little, I wrote a book. I was probably like 9, called like Phantom Feet. And I made little clay feet to go along with it. It was about a hallway of like these scary feet just walking down the hallway.
You're going to love this.
Oh my God. Okay. I can't wait. It scared the shit out of me. My own story.
Your own story.
Oh yeah. Couldn't sleep. Like, yeah.
What a writer from the beginning.
He's written a book.
Wow.
Or 2. Okay.
So these last few days have really felt like summer. Today's felt like summer.
Oh yeah, we're definitely tiptoeing into summer.
Tiptoeing into summer. It makes me want to go to the beach. Just kidding. I hate the beach. I hate the ocean.
Hate the beach. You hate the ocean.
I mean, because I'm so afraid of it.
Yeah. I'm surprised you hate the beach though, because it's literally just laying there.
Fuck, bitch.
That's all you
know.
do.
I know. I love it. But yeah, after hearing about the Salish Sea, it makes me even more nervous.
Okay.
Going to the beach. Okay, so I want everybody who's listening to imagine. So imagine you're walking along the beach. The waves are waving. Maybe you're looking for shells. I want to get a metal detector. I'll go to the beach and fucking do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's help get you down there.
Or maybe you're looking for driftwood or a place to set your towel down, and then you see it. A sneaker.
A sneaker.
A sneaker.
Sneaky sneaker.
Not too strange, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, sneakers wash up all the time. I also feel like, especially living in Los Angeles, like our beaches aren't the cleanest.
Oh, they're gross.
You see.
I don't blame you for not wanting to go to the beach here, but
Yeah. You see a lot of clothing and debris and whatever. I don't know why you guys do this, but you go and look at the sneaker on the beach.
okay.
Okay?
I was curious. I couldn't help myself.
Okay. You know what? It's okay. The shoe is not empty. There's a sock inside of it.
Oh, God.
And inside of that sock, a human foot.
Oh.
Discolored, bloated, and detached from the rest of the body.
Damn.
Don't look me up and down
Nobody
when I
wants-
say bloated or discolored, bitch. Okay. You're obviously horrified. You report it to authorities, and then you're traumatized by shoes for the rest of your life. Just
Ugh.
kidding. Well, you do. You are. You're traumatized.
Traumatizing.
Okay. It's crazy to find a human foot in a shoe on the beach.
Sure is.
But what if it keeps happening? You keep hearing more and more news reports of feet and shoes washing up on the beach.
Wouldn't believe it.
Okay, well, this is what has been happening a total of 21 times in the Salish Sea. Okay.
21 feet?
Yes.
Are
Okay.
they okay? But well, that first of all, that's extra concerning because it's not like left foot, right foot, left foot. There's an extra one there.
Oh, well, it's not. Well, I don't want to blow it.
Okay.
We're going to get into it.
Okay.
Okay, so the Salish Sea, I'm born and raised Southern California, so I don't know about the Salish Sea. But I looked it up, and on seadocsociety.org, they say, quote, the Salish Sea is one of the world's largest and biologically rich inland seas. Its name pays tribute to the first inhabitants of the region, the Coast Salish. The Salish Sea is an inland sea that encompasses the Puget Sound, the San Juan Islands, and the waters off of Vancouver, BC.
What is BC?
British Columbia.
Yep.
Yeah, girl, I know. The area spans from Olympia, Washington in the south to the Campbell River, British Columbia in the north, and the west to Nia Bay, and includes the large cities of Seattle and Vancouver. So
okay.
it's up north. It's like Washington
It's like
and
Pacific Northwest, like up there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and Canada. Okay, so that's what the sea is. Back to the feet. Since 2007, feet have been washing ashore. It's wild. Okay, I'm going to give you a little breakdown. So
Okay.
August 2007, the first foot is found by a little girl on Jedediah Island in British Columbia. She discovered a right foot inside of a sneaker. Then a couple days later, a couple found a right foot inside of a sneaker, and they were about 3 hours away from Jedediah Island.
So two rights make a wrong. They're like, those are different people.
Yes, they were like 3 hours away, both in British Columbia. Then almost a year later, February 2008, a right foot is found in British Columbia. Then May 2008, another right foot is found in Kirkland Island, British Columbia.
So all rights so far.
Okay. Then June 2008, a left foot is found in British Columbia. Then August 2008, a right foot is found in Washington. November 2008, a left foot in Richmond, British Columbia. October 2009, a right foot in Richmond. August 2010, a right foot in Washington. December 2010, a right foot in Tacoma, Washington. August 2011, a foot in a sneaker and a leg detached just under the knee was found in False Creek, British Columbia. November 2011, another right foot's found. January 2012, a foot in a boot is found in Vancouver.
Okay, different.
I know. May 2014, a left foot is found in Seattle.
Okay.
February 2016, another foot's found on Vancouver Island.
We're going through all 20?
No. But December 2017, a leg and foot with a shoe attached in Vancouver. May 2018, a hiking boot with a foot's found. September 2018, January 2019, November 2021, December 2021. All of these feet are fucking found.
Okay.
The British Columbia Coroner's Service even has like a full map with pictures of the shoes and missing feet that all post.
You know there's a pervert out there
Here.
who loves that.
Oh, God.
They're like, I love that this is happening.
I know. Look, this is the...
All the
it's like
feet.
an official... It's like all the shoes. And if you zoom in, they're kind of blurry. Because like I don't think we're supposed to see.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what the fuck is going on? Why are feet just washing up from the Salish Sea?
Why?
Well, with so many dismembered feet turning up, the public obviously ran with some wild theories.
Some hobbled.
Some crawled.
Some were walking on their hands, honey, because they're like, my one foot's in British Columbia, sweetheart. The other one's in fucking Seattle.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, damn.
Missing their feet. Was there a serial killer? Should this be a cult leader targeting?
Or was it sharks?
People along the coast? Was it some kind of human trafficking operation that maybe went wrong and they dumped victims overboard? Was there some mass gravesite at the bottom of the ocean that was like expelling its secrets? Some people even pointed to maybe it was victims from a plane crash that happened around there in 2005. 5 men died and were lost at sea from that plane crash, known as the Quadra Island plane crash.
And all just their feet walked. I'm not buying that one.
Okay. Another theory was organized crime, where all of these feet linked to people who
None
were
of my business.
sleeping with the fish.
Ooh.
I thought it was
That
really
was a good
clever.
one. Yep,
I know.
That was good.
The only problem with most of these theories were that the feet weren't cut off. The feet had naturally separated from their body.
No shit.
Yes.
I was picturing like a clean cut.
No. And they're all in sneakers or a hiking boot or whatever, but most of them are in sneakers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And when forensic experts analyzed DNA from the remains, they weren't all from the same person, obviously. I mean, if I had 20-something feet, I'd never worry.
This is incredible reporting.
About my ankle, I know. These are not from the same person, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
They were mostly men, some women. What if you looked under my skirt and I had 20 feet?
Centipede. If you had 20 feet, would they all be? If you had 20 feet, would they all be side by side, or would they be one in front of the other?
Well, yeah, because maybe there's not 20 legs. Okay, sorry.
Going. I literally spit.
Okay.
Just spit take.
The feet were also deemed to not be linked to any crime.
Okay.
Either. The feet that had been identified had been linked to missing persons who had maybe drowned or had an accident or who died by suicide. There has been no foul play suspected.
I don't know.
Actually.
I think something's afoot.
Girl. Damn, girl. He's funny. Okay, so then my next question is, why are just feet washing ashore?
Where's the head?
Yeah, where is everything? And I have a ton of really great sources linked for this coffin spinner that I urge you to go look at if you want to go more in depth. Like there was one from medium.com that had like every, I don't know, distance and everything. If you really want to like nerd out on this, it's crazy. But I also found an incredible article, an explanation from king5.com, which I think is
our favorite website.
It is our favorite website. They wrote an article, and just a little bit of it. They said, quote, University of Washington professor of oceanography, Dr. Parker McCready, told King 5 last year that the phenomenon occurs due to three main factors: how bodies decompose in these waters, the buoyancy of the shoes, and the wind patterns in the region. Salish Sea waters are very cold.
This actually makes so much sense why the feet would float versus obviously the rest of the body's like decaying and falling to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, or things eating it. Well, hold on. We'll get into it.
Sorry. Jumping ahead.
Salish Sea waters are very cold. The temperature usually does not exceed 55 degrees. According to McCready, the cool water helps preserve what is left of the bodies that is not eaten by marine life.
Oh.
That's where the shoes come in. Most modern sneakers contain a lot of foam, which is hard for scavengers to eat, so they often stay intact along with the feet inside of them. They are also very buoyant and frequently float to the surface. So how do they end up on the shore? It primarily has to do with the wind. Anything that's floating and that protrudes a little bit above the surface of the water, whether it's, a piece of trash or a foot in a sneaker or a dead bird or something like that, they are pushed around by the wind, McCready said. The wind speed is very fast compared to the speed of water. So the wind will push an object through the water faster than the current can move it.
Okay,
so that's that. I mean, there's just feet. There's fucking feet washing up.
Yeah.
But it's not anything
malicious.
Nefarious.
Oh, nefarious.
Yeah, nefarious.
Nothing nefarious.
Okay, but that's not all, because I had to tie a little Victorian era story in here somehow. And it actually this story got lumped into a lot of the research that I found when I was looking at this whole story, because this happened in British Columbia also. So in 1887, half of a human leg inside of a boot washed up on shore on False Creek, British Columbia. So I think that's Salish Sea.
Okay.
Just washed up. The police department took the leg, this is 1887, and displayed it in front of their headquarters. Like hung it up like...
Anyone seen this?
Is anyone missing a leg in a boot? And their headquarters were just tents at the time, because there was like a couple months prior to this, in 1887, there was the Great Fire of Vancouver, which ravaged the city. Anyway, they post this real human leg up inside the boot. It hung there for 2 weeks and decayed and was gross. And then they just gave it to some stray dogs.
Oh.
Like, just, okay, we didn't find the person.
Hey, boys, enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess the legend is that a man was camping and was eaten by either a bear or a cougar. And long story short, actually, hold on. First of all, that's one thing. Once you see pictures of what qualifies as the Salish Sea, like the bodies of water, like, yes, there's beach, but then there's also like
forest and
creeks and rivers. And so it's like, yeah, it makes sense that someone is in their hiking boots and maybe is climbing something and falls and drowns or whatever. Like it does make sense that it's not nefarious.
Sure.
But back to the 1887 story. They have a shopping plaza there in that same place where the boot hung, like today. And that shopping square is called Leg in Boot Square. I know, I love it.
That. I want to visit.
I know. It not to be rude, but like it kind of looks like nothing, like a strip mall kind of with like some buildings, but I just love that it's
got some lore.
It's got a morbid story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There you have it.
Thank you.
Body parts, man.
I can't think of a pun. I was trying to think of another one. Well, that was incredible, Madison. Now I think it's time to dive feet first into some obituaries.
Oh, that's insensitive.
How? I really don't think that's something to laugh at.
Yeah.
I really don't find anything funny about
this.
That's
disgusting.
That is disrespectful.
Please.
All right. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I have the obituary this week for Michelle Trachtenberg, and it's from the New York Times. They wrote a great obituary for her. Beautiful picture.
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
You have to pay for it.
No, I have it. I have an account for New York Times. because I support.
Ooh, big spender.
I pay that $10 a month. Well, no, because I told you I like to get the recipes from
Oh, yeah.
the New York Times app. Okay. Michelle Trachtenberg, Gossip Girl and Buffy actress, dies at 39. This was written by Alex Williams and Michael Levinson. And it says, quote, Michelle Trachtenberg, a touchstone of millennial youth culture who grew up on screen, rising to fame as a troubled teenager on the supernatural 1990s series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and as a conniving young socialite on Gossip Girl, was found dead on Wednesday in Manhattan. She was 39 years old. The New York Police Department said in a statement that officers responding to a 911 call just after 8 a.m. on Wednesday found Ms. Trachtenberg unconscious and unresponsive in a Manhattan apartment. She was pronounced dead by emergency medical workers who had also responded. The department said that the medical examiner would determine the cause of death, but added that criminal activity was not suspected. Obviously, that's just the precursor article.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into the actual obituary. It says, Miss Trachtenberg established her long-standing presence on the small screen at the age of 3 when she appeared in a television commercial for Whisk laundry detergent in which she spilled cranberry juice. Before she was 10, she was making regular appearances on the Nickelodeon sitcom The Adventures of Pete and Pete, as well as appearing on the enduring ABC daytime drama All My Children, which, do you remember The Adventures of Pete and Pete?
Was it Disney?
Nickelodeon.
It was Nickelodeon? I think I do.
Well, they were like the redheads, right?
Were they?
Weren't they like the redhead brothers?
Wait, yes.
It's Pete and Pete.
Yes.
Let me see.
I absolutely remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So come on. You should know you're in your Pete
know.
and Pete era. Her break... or your feet and feet era. Okay. Her breakout came at 11 when she made her big screen debut in the title role of Harriet the Spy in 1996, the film adaptation of the 1964 children's book, which also featured Rosie O'Donnell as Harriet's nanny, Old Golly, which I was just watching. I saw it pop up today, obviously, because Michelle passed away, and it was her on the Rosie O'Donnell show when she's 10 years old, and it's so cute. She drew praise for her performance as Harriet Welsh, a precocious girl who draws scorn from schoolmates over her imagined spy adventures, which she meticulously chronicles in a notebook. Reviewing the film in the New York Times, Stephen Holden wrote that Miss Trachtenberg gives a performance that is as endearing as it is devoid of self-conscious cuteness, adding her Harriet is high-spirited and stubborn, but never unlikable. She found a new level of fame as a teenager in 2000 when she joined the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer during its 5th season as the younger sister of the mystically powered Buffy Summers, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, a longtime friend who knew Miss Trachtenberg from their days on All My Children. So lots of connections there.
Yeah.
Her character, plagued with adolescent angst and bouts of kleptomania, inspired pushback from some fans. I still get comments like, oh my god, I think Dawn is so annoying, she said in a 2007 interview with Entertainment Weekly. She added that she got a lot of, oh, she was so whiny. Hi, were you a teenager?
Yeah.
Oh, you were docile, sitting in the corner, doe-eyed and happy to be there? No, there's a reason why teenagers have a stigma. Michelle Christine Trachtenberg was born on October 11th, 1985 in New York City, the younger of 2 daughters of Michael and Lana Trachtenberg. Her father was a fiber optics technician from Germany and her mother a bank manager from Russia. Growing up in the Sheepshead Bay neighborhood of Brooklyn, she was encouraged by her parents to pursue her early screen dreams. Her career began with a series of television commercials when she was a child, which eventually led to meteor roles. Her family moved to Los Angeles, where she attended Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks and was within striking range of Hollywood. Following Buffy, she had grown beyond child star status and began to play more adult roles in films like the 2004 teenage sex comedy Eurotrip. There's a scene at a nude beach, and in a certain shot, the bottom of one of my things started to fall out, she said in a 2004 interview with the Daily News of New York. The filmmaker said, oh, we won't use that, don't worry. Yeah, right, she added. Guess what shot they used? In a 2012 interview with Complex Magazine, she recalled a scene in the 2006 film Beautiful Ohio, starring William Hurt and Rita Wilson, that featured her naked tush. It was, she said, probably one of the most horrendous moments of my life.
Oh.
It would take an army or Martin Scorsese to ever get me naked again, she added. She took a more wholesome turn in 2005 when she played a science geek turned figure skater in Ice Princess. In 2008, she added another career-defining role, joining the cast of Gossip Girl, the popular CW drama about the privileged lives of moneyed and misbehaving private school students on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, as the scheming Georgina Sparks. I'm the new bitch in town, she said in an interview that year with the Sunday Telegraph newspaper of Britain, and I'm going to make my presence known. After that series, she popped up in other television series, including NCIS Los Angeles and television movies like Killing Kennedy. And then in 2013, The Christmas Gift, Sister Cities in 2016. And she also played a high school guidance counselor investigating a scandal involving a popular girl on campus in a web series, Guidance, which debuted in 2015. Information about survivors was not immediately available. Despite dealing with the pressures of stardom from an early age, Ms. Trachtenberg told Complex that she managed to steer clear of the pitfalls of early fame, including drugs. My mom was protective, she recalled, but she just said, it's your choice, you ruin your career or don't. If you realize how lucky you are to be sitting in the position you are, then just don't drink and don't do the cocaine.
Wow. So sad.
So sad. So young.
So young and beautiful.
I know. Who you got?
Okay, well, remember at the start of the show, I said my intro and you're like, you sound mysterious. And I was like, hey, wait for my obituary.
Oh, yeah.
So this obituary, I have to give credit to Forgotten Madness LA, their Instagram
Okay.
account. They always post such cool pictures of old.
I've seen them before.
Yeah, they always post such cool people and like interesting people. And so I saw this post of this girl in a mask. I'll put the picture. Yeah, and she's like,
love her.
She's like doing some radio thing. Look how cute she is.
In her little Spider-Man outfit.
Yes. And so I wanted to look into her. They have a great description of her, but I wanted to find her obituary. So this is from the LA Times from 1993. It says, Jean King, 76, actress, radio's Lonesome Gal.
Love.
Jean King, radio's Lonesome Gal, the sultry voice temptress of the nation's airwaves during the late 1940s, has died. Miss King, a veteran actress who went from radio to the Tarzan films and then back to radio, was 76 when she died of a heart attack Thursday at her North Hollywood home. Miss King, a one-time beauty contest winner and band singer, was desperate for income when she conceived the Lonesome Gal character in Dayton, Ohio in 1947. Known only as Lonesome Gal, the actress spoke in a come-hither manner over the airwaves to attract her male-dominated audience.
Love.
She would pretend that she was speaking to only one man at a time and would describe parks, monuments, schools, and streets as if she were speaking to that one man from Dayton. At her peak, she recorded about 300 programs each week for playback on 50 stations across the U.S.
Oh, and we think we're busy.
Oh my God, I know. Response from the males of Dayton was overwhelming, and she quickly moved the program into national syndication. Hi, baby.
Ooh, hi, baby.
She would croon into the microphone, speaking as if she were wearing something fun and flimsy, while her lonely radio lover poured her wine from a bottle set on a table laden with candles, linen, and silver. To lend this personal approach to a program that oozed sex to the extent possible under post-World War II mores and folkways, Miss King had to research the various communities in which she was heard, spending hours writing to chambers of commerce and other civic groups from geographic and demographic details. The workload eventually wrote her down, and the one-time performer on such other radio shows as I Love a Mystery, Death Valley Days, and Famous Jury Trials took the show off the air. To protect herself from her love-starved muffins and babies, as she would call her listeners.
Hi, muffins.
Hi, babies. She wore a mask when making personal appearances.
Oh, we need a gimmick like that. Next time we do a live show or like a
It's too
thing.
late.
Oh.
Look at we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. What the fuck?
We'll put a little mask on. We just start doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
A widow, she is survived by a daughter, Patricia Cancilla, a son, W.G. Fargo Rousseau, 6 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and a sister. Donations in her memory are asked to be sent to the actors and others for animals.
Oh,
I know.
love her.
I
I
love her.
a gal with an interesting backstory.
I want to go back and try to find some of those broadcasts.
Yeah, I bet they're somewhere.
Yeah, and I bet she has a good, nice, sexy voice.
Good crooning voice.
Hi, babies and
Hi, babies and honeys. Let's go.
babies and muffins.
Hey, Muffin, how you doing? Hey, Muffin, how you doing?
Okay, Madison, incredible. Simply exquisite, I would say. And you know what time it is? We have spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
Means it's time for some dumb
Ass
criminals. And I was inspired by you this week, girl. Because my dumb criminal involves, well, you'll see. This is from 1029thebuzz.com. But it reminded me of you, girl. Florida man arrested for odd behavior with Chucky doll.
Oh, okay. The first time Cisco saw my hair, he said, "You look like Chucky."
A 35-year-old Florida man was arrested for his bizarre behavior with a Chucky doll. Rit Arias allegedly waved the doll, modeled after the fictional serial killer, at enough people on Thursday that the police were
Oh
involved.
my God.
And they arrested him after he reportedly kept frightening patrons of Grove Kosher Market. He faces a charge of disorderly conduct and breach of peace, and I have to show you
That's not fair.
the video. Look at him just holding the doll by the foot.
Let him have it.
I'm just walking.
I kind of feel bad for him though. He just has his little doll.
If people can carry around those dolls that look like real babies,
Yeah, the like reborn.
then let someone carry around a Chucky doll.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that hair color or those overalls or that shirt. I probably have all of it. Okay, well,
Okay, who do you have?
I have one. E-Online actually reported on this.
Oh, E-News?
E-News from 2014. Thank goodness all they left behind was a trail of peppers. 3 men, 2 of whom were naked, while another wore only his boxer briefs, burglarized a restaurant in Southwest Florida in the wee hours Sunday morning, making off with 60 hamburgers, 3 pounds of bacon, 3 red peppers, and a paddleboard.
A real-life hamburglar.
A real 2 of them naked, 1 of them in underpants.
It sounds like a good night.
I know, actually. Well, where else were they going to put all that stuff? No one was hurt, and happily for the rest of the world, the apparent crime was captured on security video, although family-friendly TV stations and newspapers are only going with full-length grabs of the guys
I need to see it.
underwear. They left a trail like Hansel and Gretel. Shelley Isom, a waitress at Doc's Beach House, the restaurant burglared of its beef, told the news press. One of them probably said after, guys, where did we leave our clothes? Well, they had lost those by the time they got to Doc's, having showed up in their various states of undress. At one point, the security footage reportedly shows one of the guys trying to angle a camera away from him, unaware that another camera was taking it all in. Everybody wants to work the night shift now. Lou Bangert?
Bangert, I hardly know her.
But I can't find the video because I think it's too old.
Come on.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
I'll never forgive you for that.
I know. Maybe by the time I edit this, I can find it.
Find it. If you do find
Pop
it,
it in.
pop it into the video,
Yeah.
which you guys can watch the full episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/@obituary podcast.
And that's it for the week, right?
That's it. I think
What do we have?
I don't know. We dotted our I's, we've crossed our T's, and we even got crucified on the cross while doing it.
Oh my God, and we've knocked our socks off, our feet off.
Yeah.
I'm not good at
we
the
are
puns.
we're foot loose, baby.
We're footloose and fancy free.
That's it for the week. We'll see you next week with some more coffin spinners.
obituaries
and dumb
ass
criminals.
criminals.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.